Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today to talk to you a little bit on the benefits of meditation. And we all have something in common, and that is the flaming urge for happiness and to be satisfied in life. But the real question is, are we looking for it in the right place? And the real source of where we should be looking for it is in the clarity of our thoughts. Let's face it, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, could be all year long, we all face stress, being overwhelmed, too much on our plate. Our mind is jumbled, sometimes a little bit too much going on, a little hard to focus. And that can lead to us being stressed, anxious, negative thoughts, negative emotions. And that also leads us to having little patience, not much tolerance. And it definitely leads us to having difficulty in focusing. And that's focusing on everyday tasks, focusing on our family, focusing on ourselves. And others definitely can feel it from us. And they're getting and feeling those negative feelings and responses from that. So keeping that in mind, and with all that we just talked about, would you want to keep listening on what the benefits of meditation could do for you? I would hope so. Now, we want to continue to live our lives without having to add much to it. Now, adding meditation doesn't mean much. It means taking a few minutes, a few times a day out of your time is all you have to do. It's not asking you to make appointments, take medication, schedule something with a doctor, go somewhere for that matter. Meditation is something you could do right in your very own home. You could do it while you're at the office. You can do it just about anywhere. And simply giving yourself just a few minutes of your own time a few times a day is all you have to do to get the benefits of what meditation can do for you. Now, do you want to feel satisfied? And do you want to start feeling happiness in life and not feel yourself with that burden you carry around on your shoulders? Because remotely, that's what stress does to us. And our heads pay the price for it. And then everyone around us ends up paying the price for it. I know I found myself there. And, I could come home from work and I could find myself not present, not in the moment. And, my son would come running up and be like, oh, today at school and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he could have told me that, there was a huge fist fight and he knocked out 5 kids. And my response was, oh, that was cool. Because I wasn't in the moment. I didn't hear it. My head was going. I was not shut down from what was just running through my head. And I couldn't do it anymore. So I found meditation because I wanted to take advantage of all of the benefits from it. And I wanted to try it because I have worked, 15 plus years for a brain injury clinic. And what I learned from the brain was the brain is everything to you. You are in control of your brain. You teach it. You teach it the habits you want. You unwillingly, sometimes we do it. We don't know that we've taught it to take the road of stress and overwhelmed and got it jumbled, but we did. We end up in ourselves teaching it and learning skills that become habits that our brain repeats every single day. Then this is the pattern you get into, and you can't find yourself getting out of it. And you find yourself at a doctor and saying, I'm very stressed, I'm very overwhelmed, I'm anxious. It could even lead you to panic attacks. And a doctor's response, more often than not, is, well, let me get you a medication for that. And who wants a lot of medications? Who wants to be taking medication the rest of their life because you could actually physically change it and you don't have to go on a medication? I have actually helped and have worked with people that ended up, they have come back and they have told me, I'm not on my anxiety medication anymore. I've stopped it. All I have to do is meditate every day, and I've stayed consistent with it. And I don't have to take it anymore. I'm able to control myself. And I'm so thankful. Like I've never felt better. And it is amazing. So it's proof. It proof that it shows that it works. So what is one benefit? Let's start with the benefits of meditation and why you should choose it. And though I just touched on a few of those, meditation to start with is inexpensive. We all love inexpensive. Nobody wants to have to pay to do something not knowing if it's going to work for them, and coming in on the skittish side of, does this really work? So all you need is a pillow. I'm sitting on just a regular pillow that I have just around home. Even I didn't purchase. They've got all kinds of things out there marked meditation. You don't have to purchase it. It's simply no different pillow than a pillow you would have kicking around on your bed, your couches. You just want it to be something that is, large enough that you could definitely, be sitting on and just want to feel comfortable on. And nothing special. Outside of that, there are several things that do get marked as meditation. You don't have to purchase them. Nothing more than a pillow and this, your time, and that's it. So no special equipment needing, just your time. You could do it anywhere, any place. You just need some place that's quiet. You do need some quiet time. And the other benefits are no medication required, no doctor's appointments to be made. You don't need to schedule to go somewhere. I do help people who want to get started, so for a certain period of time, maybe it's a few times a week, or, it's daily for, the first week, or however long they're comfortable with. We'll Skype or, Zoom, and we'll do it together and walk them through, how to create their first basic meditation to get started with. And then they'll come back and they'll ask, how do I step this up? I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to step it up to the next one. I've mastered this. This is really good. And now I want to step it up. So your basic meditation is very simple, and you definitely can get more advanced with it. But there's no rush. There's no rush to do it. If you can get the basic, it's really all you need. So definite, huge advantages right there. Nothing to it except a pillow and your time is all you need. Now let's talk a little bit about how meditation works. What are the practices of it? Where did it come from? Well, really, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Ancient history. It was being done. You've probably seen it. You've seen it in movies. You have seen where cultures would sit. They would sit Indian style, and they would sit, and you see several pictures, and it's been being done. However, it wasn't started for the purposes of relaxation and a stress reliever. And it wasn't started for that at all. It was started to be an understanding with the sacred, for the mystical forces of life, to work, and those believe they can make a connection with those mystical forces. And I'm not going to say that some don't use that for that today, because you can. That is definitely more on the advanced side. I do that occasionally, where I spiritually, will connect, and that is a whole nother line of stuff. I also like to do Reiki, healing therapy, and but that's a whole world that grows. So the more you get into it, if you have an interest, then definitely you can expand with your meditation. But basic meditation is what you need to improve your health, and that's what we're talking about today. So the focus for meditation, once they realized from ancient history that they weren't only finding that they were meeting with mystical forces and finding an understanding with the sacred, they were also finding from that research that these individuals had more attention. Their attention was on the present. They became more clear. They eliminated all of those jumbled thoughts during their meditation. And those people became very relaxed. They were very calm. And then it's evolved to what it is today and how people practice it today. Now, how does it work? I've had people look at me and say, yeah, it's all in your head. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I say to them. You're absolutely right. It's all in my head. Completely is. Because it's your brain. And that's how it works. It is 100% accurate that is exactly how meditation works. Now, as you remember, I had just spoke about working with the brain. And that is how this works in teaching your brain a new learning skill. Now, we all fall down things because we just slowly get there. We slowly get our way to being stressed, overwhelmed, taking on too much, just letting things pile up. And then before we know it, here we are, and it is what it is. So we want to get ourselves in a heightened state of awareness and focus our attention. So now we have got to retrain the brain that we don't want to do that anymore. We want to do this. And that's what's going on. It's a neurological way that it happens. So no, you can't just sit down for one day. You can't just sit down for once or twice in a week and think, yep, it's fixed, or this didn't work. It's not quite like that. When you didn't learn to brush your teeth twice a day, that's a skill you learned to do. You were taught it as a kid, and you kept getting told to do this by your parents. You were told you needed to brush your teeth twice a day, and you began to brush your teeth, and you got better at it, and you got better and better at brushing your teeth. And then that's a skill you taught your children, and that's kind of how meditation is. You're teaching that skill back to your brain that we're going to now do this. And instead of your response when something happens, your brain's not going to take that default network, it's called. It's not going to take the default network route, because meditation's going to pound down that default network. It's going to smush it, because when you're stressed and anxious, that default network is up, and it's stimulating and vibing out to your whole body, and just sending out those messages: stress, anxious, unfocused. It's got you all upset all throughout. So it smushes it, it crushes it, and then your meditation has now got you over here where you have a better response method to that for your better health. And the benefits of that is, specifically first, is it's going to create your focus, your calming. And the key to this is to know that the benefits can do for you is understanding that it works naturally. Naturally. No medication. A medication is something that, yes, is telling your brain temporarily until you put the next the med into yourself. And, for some of, if anyone's ever had to take anxiety medication, I have, I can certainly get beyond that medication and find myself going, did I even take the med? Because the next thing I know, I've got myself so wound up that I'm questioning, I didn't even take my med this morning, but I did, because the brain is responding to a medication that's just slow releasing in there, and it's not fixing it. It's not fixing what's going on with you. It is only taking it and masking your symptoms to get you through that time release time till the next one, to the next pill, to the next pill. So in meditation is the daily method to get yourself to teach your brain the new skill of we're going to respond this way. Now, brainfacts.org did some research on this, and they did the neurological research, and they did it with EEG. And EEG is the electrodes that attach to the skull, and they actually, during meditation, are examining and they're watching what goes on and what is happening within that brain during that time period. Is anything happening? And the results are astonishing. And what you can see actually happening within the brain during meditation is proven to show that the brain is responding, it is learning, and it begins to memorize. And those results that over time, given within 2 weeks, it is shown that your brain has begun to memorize the new skill. And the default network, they call it, is coming down here. It is becoming less responsive. It's not responding to stress and sending out those stimulants to wind you up and get you unclear and jumbled. It's physically taking away that default network from communicating and rising your response methods that are naturally given to you at birth, that we end up defeating as we become adults. And we rise our default network. We rise it. Now we've got to just teach it and squash it and come back to it. And that's what meditation does. Now it is all in my head. So when somebody says it is in my head. Absolutely, it is. Because it is your brain. So it is something that truly does work. And I know people are still skeptical, but don't be skeptical and don't tell me it doesn't work until you've physically tried it and been consistent with it for at least 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, then come back and tell me, I don't believe it still. It isn't working. I'd be happy to talk about it. So now also with the brainfacts.org, check out the site for sure. They've got some really great images of the brain and how all that works. And they're really great images. Over time, even shows up to a year, they had some images there that physically shows how much of a change, even in a year, that it can make to a person's life and the brain, and actually how much that it physically changed the learning and the method of the response method of your brain. So you should definitely check out that site. Now, what it suggests is that our default network suggests that the meditative process helps us to optimize all of your brain's resources. So basically what that means is that the white matter in your nerve matters allow the different regions to communicate with one another to make you respond, to physically react, to function more efficiently. And don't we all want to do that? I know I've had my days where I have run in circles. And I've gotten to the end of the day and I'm like, holy cow, I should have gotten so much done. And I take a look and I'm like, that's all I got done. I am exhausted and that's all I got done. And it's because my head the entire time was just running, and I physically thought, geez, yeah, I definitely got a lot done. But I didn't. I did everything up here in my head going like this. And I was inefficient with my hands and what I had to get done because I couldn't make this connect with this to make anything happen because too much was going on here. So this is what it neurologically does for you to meditate. That is your biggest benefit I could possibly tell you and give you. Relearn the skills to your brain you naturally were born with, and you didn't let life, and that's what happens. Life happens to us. Life changes it. Life changes us and teaches our brain another way. So now moving on to some of the other items that are benefits that come along with meditating. And some of those benefits are, within the manuscript. There is definitely a manuscript I have written along with this that is very detailed and gives you a lot of information beyond what this video can share. Be happy to send that along. Certainly comment. I'll be happy to share that along with you. And some of those things, though, just going down through them briefly is, biggest thing is it helps you focus on the present. It just makes you in the moment. You're here, and you're here now. You're not in what just happened an hour ago. You're not what happened yesterday. You're not in what needs to happen tomorrow. You're not in what just happened 2 months ago. You are right now. So when your son comes to you and says, this is what happened at school today, and there was a big fist fight, then your response is that's wonderful. Yeah, it's more, what? Excuse me? What happened? Yes, you're in the present. And that didn't happen. It's just an example. So he didn't fist fight. But it's a good example. You don't want to miss something in the present that's definitely very serious. And the other things are building skills to manage your stress. Meditation is just that skill to manage your stress. Just gives you those few moments to just separate from everything. Separate it. Reduce your negative emotions. It creates your imagination and your creativity. It's your moments and your time in your meditation. You will see how well that you will grow once you start meditation. I can't explain it. I just need for you to try it. I'm a creative person, and sometimes I can get blocked. I know what I think I want to do, but I've got like 6 images going, and it's like, how am I going to connect these, and how